Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to a special episode of LVAD Talk. I'm just going to jump right in it. I have a superstar in the house today. We have little Doug Behl and his family. How are you doing today, Doug? So so the first question I want to ask you, even before we get into the LVAD, is how did you find your love for Ghostbusters?
What? You're a daddy. That was not me.
All right, which is your favorite Ghostbusters movie? The first one.
Yes. Say, Daddy played the song for him when he was 3 years old, and he was hooked. And then that was the only song we could play for months and months. And then he found out there was a movie attached to the song. And the rest was just all downhill from there.
So it's really funny because I think I was about maybe a little bit older than Doug when the original movie came out.
Okay. Yep. It's been around for a while. It's a classic.
That's one of the all-time favorites. So Doug, do you want to tell us your story about, your journey and what you deal with the LVAD?
Do you want to tell? You don't? Are you feeling all shy from the video? Well, it's okay. You can tell them anything you want. You can edit this, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. But we don't need it.
What time did you start the video?
I hope it's not live.
That's what you do. Right.
Yeah, do you want to tell? What was it like last year? Yeah, what happened? You don't want to tell him? He's very shy with videos. I don't know why, but
I totally get it. But Doug is 6, right? Getting ready to turn 7.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready to turn 7.
So, Mom, how did the road start with his heart failure?
For little Doug, we didn't have a clue until a couple days before we took him to the ER. We actually took him to the ER and thought that he just had a bad stomach bug. Mm-hmm. Because prior to a couple days before we went in, he was, bouncing off the walls, active kid, like crazy active. So it was a few days before we went in, he got sick and he was, started puking up yellow. And I didn't know until later what that was. I guess they said it was stomach bile, but we just thought it was a bad stomach bug. Mm-hmm. And so we took him into the ER, and they came back in a few minutes and said they had done a chest x-ray of his heart, and they said his heart was larger than an adult's, and a children's hospital was on the way to get him. So, and that hit us like a ton of bricks because, like I said, a few days, 4 days, 5 days before that, he was just running around living his best life, wearing us both out.
So how old was he at this point?
It would have been just after his 6th birthday last year. So he had just turned 6, and 2 months to the day after his 6th birthday was when he had the surgery.
Which children's hospital did he go to?
Children's of Wisconsin in Milwaukee.
Okay. Well, Doug, we got something in common because when I was 3 years old, I had my first open heart surgery, but it was at Chicago Children's Hospital.
Okay, not too far.
No.
That's kind of close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what type of surgery was that?
I had ASD repair, atrial septive defect repair. I was born with a heart murmur.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And that is, I'm telling my age, I'm 47. So that was 44 years ago, if my math is right.
Yeah. That's always exciting to meet a heart warrior that's, from that early on and still here and still making the world a better place.
Yeah. Oh, I'll try. Thank you. You're very kind. All right. So after the heart hospital was after the children's hospital came and got him, what was that like?
Well, the whole thing was terrifying. The worst experience we've ever had. Not anything like they weren't amazing in their care, but just was something as a parent you
Right.
never think about having to deal with. So it was a whirlwind of, okay, what's going on? And lots of new information and tons of terms we had never heard of. We didn't even know anyone or that has an LVAD or had an LVAD, we didn't even know what it was.
Right.
That was our first time ever hearing about it, and here it was for our 6-year-old. So it was quite a roller coaster ride.
So was that the first option they gave you, or did they try other options first?
We were there for about 8 days where they were trying to see if they could just use meds to get his ejection fraction to come up and get his heart to come back. But one of the biggest signs when he started throwing up at home is he stopped eating, and he's always been a big eater. And he started wanting to voluntarily take naps, and that never happened. So that was when I knew something was really wrong. So at the hospital, that continued. He was not able to keep food down. It just kept coming back up. So after about a week of that, then we were going on, 10 days of him not really keeping any food down. And so that was when they said, we need to look at the LVAD as our option here to do something quick. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. So what was the adjustment like? And little Doug, anytime you're ready, you can jump in.
Yeah, if you have anything to say. Can I tell him what you said in the ER the first night we got to Children's? No. What? He's like, nope, not going to divulge that. He kept them laughing quite a bit there at the hospital. Yeah. He had lots of fun things to say.
Well, Big Doug, we were talking before, and it seems like heart failure kind of runs in the family because you had your own issues with it. Do you care to speak upon that?
Yeah. In 2016, I had a staph infection underneath both my arms, and it got into my heart. So yeah, I think if we seek medical advice at that point, it would have never got to that point. But I didn't know what it was, and we didn't know what was going on. So we were fighting it topically. That was about it. But then, when an infection gets into the heart, then all of a sudden you got a major problem. So that's really where mine started from. And I did, with the help of another doctor, get that rebuilt back up. And then I got hit with a virus last year. It wasn't the COVID. And my body was fighting a bad fall that I took in March. And in March is when I actually got a virus again that attacked my heart. So I don't think at that point my body had the immunity that it needed to have prior to fight off both things. So I had a lot of inflammation going on. And then when I got hit with a virus last year, again, kind of similar to an infection, it gets into your heart cells and wreaks havoc, destroying all that. And it took me down to 20%. So we recognized that again, what was happening. And so we went and seek some medical attention at that point. But we do feel like right now we're on a pretty good road to recovery. But yeah, it's no fun to deal with for sure. And then to have little Doug and I both in the same scenario isn't fun either. So
yeah, I can understand. So were you guys hospitalized at the same time?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, but it was a big concern in my mind because when he got that second virus beginning of last year, his heart was we could tell it was going down. And then we got hit with this, which is like soul crushing stress to deal with every day. And he was trying to keep his business going and travel back and forth 3 hours between here and the Children's Hospital. So I was really concerned about his heart. At the same time, we were trying to deal with all this with little Doug, and it was not a year we'd want to repeat.
Yeah.
I can understand. So, Big Doug, do you think that it's hereditary, possibly?
I was going to say, they said that we asked that, but they said that it wasn't because he didn't have a childhood onset. He never had heart problems until, late 50s. So they didn't consider that a connection. So like if little Doug got into his 50s and his heart started to fail, that would be something they would look at as hereditary, but not this, unless Big Doug had experienced something in his childhood similar. So that's what they told us. So I don't know.
So, Cami, how was it on you having to take care of both the Dougs?
I don't know if we have enough time for that. No. I don't know. Sometimes things come into your life and they make you realize a level of strength that you didn't know that you had. Because if anybody had asked me early last year if I could handle this, I would have straight up said no. So, but as you go into it, you find the strength to do it somehow. So I call them the Dougs, and I do feel like a full-time nurse a lot of times. But one thing I really cling to is I do have a strong faith in their hearts. And I just know these hearts are worth saving and that they're strong enough to come back. Okay. So I really focused on that and fought for that. So.
And as you know, the caregivers make a great difference in how we recover and how we come out of things. So for one, I want to thank you for that, because, your role is just as important as the doctors and the nurses, if not more.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's fulfilling. It is.
So, Doug, if I see your friends in the back, do you want to say anything, young lady?
You want to say hi? Hi.
What are your thoughts? If Doug's your best friend, how do you deal with having a best friend that's a cyborg?
A cyborg. Well, I will say this, that Hope was amazing in her positivity when we first went into the hospital. Everybody, all the family, you tend to panic and what does this look like? And is this the end? And Hope was like positive. She prayed for him every day. And, and then when he got well enough to do video chats, but she just never stopped. She was like, I know what you're all panicking about. This kid's coming home and he's coming home on top. So that was a big blessing to me as a mom, just to see that. And that encouraged me to be like, all right, if a kid can have that kind of faith, then so can I.
Right. So what was Doug's recovery like after getting the LVAD? And, well, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. When they approached you with the device, what were your first thoughts?
Well, our first thought was, we asked them, if we take this step, is there any chance for his heart to recover? And they said, yes, it is possible for his heart to recover after the LVAD. And so then we were like, okay, let's do this to get him some relief, give his heart rest, and then give it a chance to recover. After the surgery was done, they said, well, it's more like less than 1% chance. So, but we were like, hey, if anybody should be in that 1%, it's little Doug. So, but yeah, it was super scary. I mean, a mechanical device going inside your kid's body, what? But I could see that he was fading away, and we just knew we had to do something drastic. And so when they told us there would be a chance that his heart could recover, we said, then let's do it.
So is he destination transplant?
He is not, actually. We are still, a year later, fighting for recovery, giving recovery a chance of his heart. So we've actually traveled to Texas Children's Hospital to speak with them there, because they have done the most pediatric LVAD explants in the United States. So we went there to talk with them about that, and we're, talking with a few other specialists. We work with a cardiologist out in Arizona that's a specialist in heart recovery. And so that's what we're doing.
He's here.
I to sit still and a video to him is he likes the human interaction.
Oh, I totally get it. And like my son's 10, so I've been through it. And yeah.
You know what it's like.
The whole antsy pants thing, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
and now you're powered by battery, so you never get tired.
I know, that was the thing. They said, he's probably going to be tired. He's not going to be as hungry. And when we came home, we were like, can you turn this thing down? Where's the turn it down power button?
Well, Doug, you'll be glad to know that I've had my LVAD for 6 years.
He's had his for 6 years. You said, please. He's saying he's tired. The only time he's tired is when he's made to sit still.
And as soon as this is over with, he's going to be, he's going to be out of there.
I know, it is what it is. Can you imagine 6 years? He's had his LVAD for as long as you are old.
It's not because they were up really late last night talking, but
I was up for like 5 hours.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say, if you really want to get him talking, ask him about Minecraft.
Oh.
I can't get him to be quiet.
Hey, Doug, all right, so you like Minecraft, do you like Roblox too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my son plays. And he's always begging me for Robux.
Yep, you get that. Well, and that's actually an enjoyment that is a side benefit for him of getting the LVAD, because we never had a gaming system or did anything with games prior to him going into the hospital. But when he was in the hospital for 2 months recovering, they had a PlayStation 3 in every room. And so he got his first taste of gaming. So, and he's hooked ever since. So
yeah, so me and Doug got a lot in common, man. We got a lot in common. My very first machine was the one before the Atari, the little yellow one that you could only play the blocks. Yeah. And then I graduated to the Atari, and I think I've had almost every console since then. So.
Yeah, he loves his gaming now. Well, and with the blood thinners that he's on, as active as he is with the running and the trips and the scrapes and stuff, the one thing I love about the gaming is
he's still safe, right?
He's not building a castle that he's going to try to jump off of or something.
Because you can't forget, he's still a little boy. He wants to do little boy things.
Yes, that's right.
Granted, you're a robotic boy, but you're still a boy.
That's right. That is right.
So how do you handle his batteries? Does he wear the bag, or does he use like a fanny pack?
You want to stand up like all the way so we can see it in the video? Can you stand up on the stool? Here, I'll hold your hand. Ta-da! We like the VAD shirts.
Okay.
We do have a backpack, but that it's just easier to get caught in the driveline because there's like a big loop over here. Where these are kind of on the front, they're not coming off of like the side of him. So this has kind of been our best thing for him being mobile and getting around. So we had a wonderful guy that custom makes all of his stuff because they didn't have anything in kid sizes for this LVAD. Right. Yeah, because it's an adult LVAD. Brent is the one that made him. He's got LVADgear.com, but he makes all the things that little Doug has in little Doug sizes. So that was
I have a reference for you too. It's a young man by the name of John Stratton. He's a perfusionist, and his company is Medi Materials. And I'm gonna get in touch with him. I'm gonna be talking to him in the next couple of days anyway, and because he makes the ones that I wear.
Okay.
I'll talk to him about some Doug sizes to give him some options.
Yeah, some custom, because that was the thing, the hospital told us, they're like, oh, we'll get him a backpack or whatever. But then they brought me a catalog for the hardware LVAD company, and it's all adult stuff. Like nothing worked for him. So I was like, how are we gonna, because my main goal after the surgery was to get him home. And I was, that was my mission. I was on a mission to get him home. And that was one big hurdle, was having some way for him to safely wear it, where it wouldn't come off and, yank on his driveline. So that was a huge, you get on video, just make weird faces and do weird things. But yeah, so having the devices where he could wear it and be safe and still play and be active was really a huge blessing. I can't even put that into words. So that guy was an angel for helping us and doing the custom sizes for us.
Which LVAD does he have?
He has the hardware LVAD. So I think, what is there? There's a HeartMate and then a Berlin Heart. I think are the only other two that I know of. But
do you know why they chose that particular LVAD for him?
Yeah, they said that the HeartMate company doesn't allow you to put them in pediatric patients, whereas the hardware does. The Berlin Heart is very much geared toward pediatric patients, but with that one, you cannot leave the hospital. It has a lot of external stuff on it. So they chose the hardware in hopes of getting him mobile to be able to go home. So that was why they chose that one at that time.
So who's in charge of making sure the batteries are always charged?
Who is that? Who checked the batteries?
Yeah, he does pretty good.
Me too. We do. We all do.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of them, and we have 2 different charging wheels. But he's the one. I'll be like, Mom, I'm that one.
Yeah, I don't think they realized that a 6-year-old can have that responsibility, and this kid's been awesome with that.
Yeah.
He changes it himself. He even plugs himself in at night. He changes his batteries. It's amazing what he has done, and given the opportunity, how mature he's got towards something like that himself. It's like we didn't even have to do it. It's like he automatically knows how important it is to keep up on that. So
he might even be better than me.
He is good at it.
He does very well.
He really does. He does really well with a lot of things that I'm just amazed at every day. Just how he's maintained being a kid and having fun. Whenever he sees the screen, he's the Snapchat where you do all kinds of funny things. Whenever he's watching himself on a video.
Hey, Doug, think of it as TikTok.
You do it like this. Ah! When you're bored on video, what do you do?
One thing that I'm really proud of is not only you guys, but the surrounding community, because I've been watching your story and I've seen all of the support and help you guys have gotten. So I want to thank any of you guys that's watching this. I want to thank you because it touches me to see Doug go through that, because it could have been me,
Yeah, it's amazing. We've just been blown away. Just the support and the love and the encouragement, and it's just amazing. It really is. It has warmed our hearts for sure, going through something like this, and just to see how people have rallied around and and supported him. So very blessed.
Yes. And Doug, if you are a superhero, don't let nobody tell you nothing different. A camera shy superhero, but you're a superhero just the same.
Right? Yeah. Or maybe an antsy one.
All right. So any last thoughts, and what would you guys give? What kind of advice would you give to other parents out there that's going through the same thing?
I would say one of the most important things is to keep a positive perspective and to watch how you speak to your little one, because that's something we've done from the very beginning. Our verbiage has been, we're so lucky, we're so blessed, isn't this amazing technology? And we love this LVAD. He's his little buddy, and he's helping his heart to rest, and what a gift that is. And look at all these adults, all these doctors, all these nurses, all these specialists that all care so much about you and helping you to still be here, because you are important to be in this world. And so watching the verbiage on that, and even to the point where we tried a little bit, plan our meltdowns away, because you gotta have those as parents. There's some really dark times, but really controlling the verbiage and keeping it on the grateful side and how thankful we are, and keeping it on your heart's amazing. It's been through this, there's no reason why it can't even go further and do amazing things like, recover. And we still really are hoping and praying for a recovery. But that's one of the biggest things I would say is watch your speech around your little ears, because as parents, I don't necessarily have that power in other adults' lives, but as parents, we have that power in our kids' lives to cast a perspective that will be their reality, because that's what they look to. These are my parents. These are the ones that brought me into the world. These people are my whole world. What are they doing? How are they reacting to this? How are they feeling about this? And so that would be that has been my greatest challenge, and would be my, I think, greatest piece of advice was just to keep it positive, keep it grateful, keep it excited and happy, because that really has framed how I've heard him speak to other people, and how I've heard him talk about it to other people as well. So, and he challenges me back and forth then on that too, because he's just amazing with his happiness and his gratitude and his positive outlook on his future. So every day he challenges me in that and making me smile and laugh. So the only other piece I would add on to that is for the moms, follow your mom gut.
Okay.
Because there have been a lot of times where the doctors are like this or that, and my gut would be like, I know that might work for a lot of kids, but man, I don't think that's a good idea for my kid. And we had several instances in the hospital like that, where I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then the cardiologist would come back and be like, well, you were right. You should have listened to me. That was a bad idea. So it's intimidating. All of a sudden you're surrounded by all these doctors with years and years of, experience and degrees and stuff, but nobody knows your kid like you do, like the parents do specifically. So they're so educated on, the biology of the body, the heart, and how it works, and drugs and all that stuff. And that's phenomenal, but they're not really educated on little Doug and who he is and what makes him tick, and all the different things like I am. So that was one thing I had to learn, because at the beginning I'd be kind of shy about speaking up, but then it would always go where I was like, I was right. I should have pushed harder. And now I'm like, I don't ignore that voice anymore. When I got that voice, I'm like, hey, we need to check this, or we need to do that, because it's always right. So anyways, that would be my advice.
What about you, Big Doug?
Oh boy. Have a wife like mine.
Cat is.
That makes it easy. We've always been big researchers. Like when something occurs, we're out there checking it out. I get a new drug, we're checking it out. When he was in the hospital, we wanted to know everything that was in every pill he was taking, because it's your kid.
Yeah. And you have to be your own best advocate.
Yes, that is true. That is very true. Agree.
I totally agree. Miss Hope back there, you got anything to say?
wave goodbye.
Yep. Cat doesn't ever tell much, but it does now.
I know, we got the camera shy people.
Doug, what about you?
You got anything else you want to say?
Anything? Everybody stay positive, stay strong.
When this is all over, I'm gonna hook you up with my son and y'all can play Roblox together.
Ooh, there you go. That would be fun. We like to do it.
So how? Go ahead.
If I could interject,
Mm-hmm.
we were together and all the decisions, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So we said in the beginning of this whole deal, we want him to have the heart God gave him.
Mm-hmm.
And we still believe that. So that's why we're fighting so hard for recovery. And we feel we're going to let you know when it happens too.
Please do. Yes, keep us updated.
That's going to be a party. So
And anytime you guys want, my platform is open to you. If you just want to come and vent, you're more than welcome. I'm here for you. If you got anything you want to spread, just let me know.
Yeah.
I have a platform, and this is what it's for.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate what you do because it's just a neat to connect to different people with other people that have gone through, the same things and just keeping it, sharing the positive things you learn as you go.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate what you do. And
the funny thing is when I first started, I was like, there ain't gonna be too many people. But, it's grown and more people have come out. And I think more people have shared their stories that makes it more relatable for more people.
Yes. And it makes it seem more doable because it seems overwhelming in the beginning. Like, how am I going to do this? How can you live like this? It's just overwhelming because it's a new concept. But it's possible. And that's, I think, the biggest message that we can spread and grow together is that it's possible.
So everything you do now is purposeful.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It totally changes your outlook on life. I tell
Exactly.
everybody, and I'm not ashamed to say it, the first thing I do every day when I wake up is thank God for another day because I didn't have to have this day.
Yes.
I used up all my days 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the thing with our perspective with him is, you can have as a parent, like, why us? Why did this happen to us? Why our kid? And that there's always more than one perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And different perspectives carry different levels of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very painful perspective to wake up every day. Why me? Why my kid? Why are we going through this? But there's also the perspective of we could have lost him last year in August.
Mm-hmm.
And every single day that we have him is a bonus and a gift. And we're coming up now on birthday number 7. And you bet your bottom dollar we're going to have a party and celebrate that he's here for number 7. So in every situation, like no matter how bad it is, there's always more than one perspective and look at the pain that they carry.
Mm-hmm.
The pain and it'll just wear you down and get tired with the why me and why us, as opposed to every day is a bonus. We got another day with this crazy Minecrafting, nose picking little kid. And that's a gift. So that keeps you in this is awesome and this is amazing. And I'm so thankful for that kind of space.
I say amen to that.
Yeah.
So how can the people get in contact with you guys? How can they get in contact with little Doug?
Been good. We do have a page where we post all of the updates, and we have since the beginning. Facebook page. It's called Prayers and Encouragement for Little Doug, and so that's been a way that I can keep everybody posted. We have a lot of prayer warriors on that page, so I know whenever I post something there, they're on it right away. And then it's just been an encouragement, I think, to a lot of people to keep in touch with little Doug and his journey and see how he's doing. So that page has been a blessing. So that's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us there on Facebook.
Minecraft.
All right, what's your ID on Minecraft?
Little Doug. Is it Little Doug 78? Or just Little Doug? One of those. I think it might be just Little Doug. But if you see a Little Doug 78, it might be that one. I'm not a Minecrafter. He is. So, what is your handle on it? Does it say Little Doug? On Minecraft? Your name on Minecraft?
Yes, Little Doug.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Organized.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking your time out. I'm very honored. And Lil Doug, I really mean this, man. You're a role model to me. You inspire me. You make me do what I do so I can talk to people like you. And, you know, I'm just so encouraged by what you're doing on a daily basis. So I want to personally say thank you, Lil Doug.
You're good. Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And everybody out here, if you want to get in touch with either I or Little Doug, you can reach us at LVADtalk.com. You can leave messages, you can leave voicemails. We have everything in one place now. If you want to contact with Little Doug, I would definitely share the messages with him because I need him to know that other people out here watching you, young man.
Yep. Yep, so that sounds good.
So with that said, I want to thank you guys for your time, all of you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to having an update soon. When is his birthday?
His birthday is July 8th.
Oh, okay. So if anything, we might do a quick live or something around your birthday, so we can get up. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of LVAD Talk. My name is Shawn. This is Doug, Little Doug, Big Doug, Hope, Cami, the whole family. And we are out.
Thank you.
Stay safe.